People, we're observing you. How are you doing? You worry, you are bullish, and you are bearish. Are you prepared for altcoin, about a dip? Our goal is to maintain that 60-cent range. Although there hasn't been much of a retracement, Bitcoin still looks fantastic. Nothing extraordinary, but what's going to occur? Where will the next action take place? I've got you covered in this video. The World Economic Forum has completely altered its stance on Bitcoin because it's now beneficial to the economy, and you can't manufacture this, is it? XRP is about to explode. We're going to look at the JP Morgan Ripple's on-demand liquidity, yes, the XRP connection usage that is frequently mentioned in Ripple documentation, after I briefly addressed it in this video. To find a lot of material to read, so without further ado, take a seat, unwind, and let's begin using Bitcoin, $61,800 or $189, which is currently 4.4% lower than it was a day ago. Ethereum now has a 24% increase and is $3,419. The dollar pegs on USDT and USDC are both precisely where we want them to be, and XRP is still holding strong, people. 62 pennies, it's not where we want to be, I know. To view it at this moment, keep in mind XRP. It hasn't really exploded. Last week, we had temperatures in the 50s, and we've noticed some pumping here and there. We're flirting, and the temperature is up in the 60s. The 60 cents were a significant obstacle to overcome with that 66-cent zone. We moved past it. We are holding it right now, and the hourly chart shows that we are in the green. Later today, I have the weekly close coming up. XRP must surpass and make a strong advance beyond the 66-cent zone. We should focus on that right now. If we can maintain 60 every week, we're still in excellent shape. The entire market capitalization of cryptocurrencies while we record this video, it is in the green. 51 billion, our numbers are below 400 billion. Far from the peak, we haven't even noticed having to recall how the market will level out, and over the following 12, perhaps 15, months, or possibly longer, until 2025, it will be exciting to see this bull run cycle. What will be visible when the halving draws near? I want you to keep this in mind, and a correction will appear. H485 is most likely the region we're looking at in Bitcoin. Do we go that low? Maybe? I have no idea. Indeed, it could. Yes, it did occur. Although I don't believe that the market will reach another low like that, if it does occur, there will be a correction in both the markets and Bitcoin. People will think that the bull run is finished and that there was no breakout. They will kick and shout. I can tell you this because I have been a member of 2 previous bull runs, and the story is always the same. Everyone believes that the all-time high will occur before it does, but I don't think that will happen. Instead, I believe that when it does, there will be a retracement. If Bitcoin manages to break through its all-time high before halving, that simply means that our targets of 100 to 150,000 will be destroyed, and we should instead be looking at more like 150 to 175. These markets might really blow up if there is a blow-off peak in the $200,000 range. I think more ETFs for Bitcoin will be released, as we've discussed on this channel before, the second wave of ETFs, as we like to call them. I also think that ETFs for other cryptocurrencies, like Ethereum XRP, will be released at some point this year, possibly later. What these ETFs will do is attract institutional money now. These products are flying off the shelves already. The new villain tier was only launched 2 days ago, and what's coming on Monday? Create your villain in the Lux Lions lab. You would purchase a potion, enter the lab, and craft your own villain. Check out how awesome it is that all of these earn you XRP back. We recently returned $30,000 to the Lux Lions project holders. We had the second largest project on the XRP ledger, and we partnered with the former CTO of Cool Cats. There are a lot more announcements forthcoming for this project, which will grow to be the largest on the XRP ledger. All of this happened during the bear market, which is how we were able to accomplish all these numbers. Consider that, and consider what would happen to this project in a bull market. Because these collections are extremely limited, people who have purchased an iPhone since 2010 or 2007 have done so at a cost of approximately $220,000. Imagine the value of that same $20,000 if you invested it in Apple stock instead. That amount would be worth $3.7 million. This is amazing, people. Amazing. We're talking about an average return of 10% on our investment. Consider getting a new phone every year, or how much a new iPhone costs these days, $1,000 or $1,200 for something like their mid-tier model. If you skipped a few years and invested that money instead of updating your phone every year, imagine the return you would have received if you invested that money in cryptocurrency. If you were accumulating that iPhone money that you were spending every year, that's equivalent to a monthly contribution of $100, so imagine the returns you would have had. I'll tell you right now, I have a Google Pixel 8 that I don't buy new phones every year. I plan to keep using this one until it dies, possibly even for 7 years. I believe I am in the 7th, I'll be honest with you. I probably have this phone for another 2 to 3 years before the battery dies. There's no need to buy a new phone every year. You can obviously do as you please, but consider the other places where money could be spent. That's insane. $20,000 could have been turned into $3.7 million. CryptoWolf predicts that XRP will rise to an extremely high level, and I agree with him. If we look at the price of XRP at 60 cents right now, we can see a 10x increase, which suggests that we could be looking at a $6 XRP, which is absolutely phenomenal. I'm telling you this right now. Ripped off, he's cashing in, relaxing, and planning to start a Call of Duty streaming business. I'm going to concentrate on the Patreon group as I transition into a full-time YouTube streamer. The 9 to 5 will be behind me, but how did I manage to make it all happen? The Lux lines, the Discord. Since they entered these markets in 2017, I have adhered to the game plan, and everyone should do the same. Every week for the past 2 years, I have been purchasing cryptocurrency. It's been more than a year since I started buying heavily, but no one is telling me to buy as much as I am, and I promise to be completely honest. I have been purchasing Casper and XLM every week. I advise my friends who want to invest in cryptocurrency, hey, you don't have to do $500 even if you're doing $25. I purchase $500 worth of cryptocurrency every week. One day, instead of buying lunch, pack your own every Monday. You'll know that you would have saved $10 to $15 by not having to buy lunch. Purchase cryptocurrency. If you start to calculate, that comes out to be between $40 and $50 every month. Multiply that amount by 4, and you'll find that you have $2,400 invested in cryptocurrency. Consider how simple it would be to increase that $2,400 by 10 times by bringing in lunch every Monday. You could even increase it to $50,000. It's crypto. This is reality, and it's frightening because individuals are wondering, what will $10 accomplish for me in this situation? What's 15 over a year? When's the last time we've seen these Bitcoin bull runs and bull cycles? Money adds up very quickly, according to a credible cryptocurrency analyst. That was one small step down for Bitcoin. Where do you see it now? $61,000 range, and one giant leap to the bottom out of the chart for alt on the real, though notice the weakness across the board on alt and this little sneeze on BTC. Nothing has changed because there is still demand for Bitcoin locally, but this weakness in alt versus Bitcoin on this slight decline is, in his opinion, a sign that Bitcoin is getting ready to expand into new areas. He took profits on his H-bar. He had an 8-bar entry at about 0.9. Call it 10 cents, and he got out 116, making a ridiculous amount of money. I'm not saying that you should take a long. I don't do longs. I've only ever made one long in my life, but look, the market is bullish. It's been a good week for him. He's still holding a fully loaded Bitcoin swing long, and he's not going to reduce it to exposures to alts at this. This is a video that's been making the rounds. Larry, who is the chairman and CEO of BlackRock, is probably familiar to you. He previously discussed the XRP ETF. Now, he's saying that, according to his shifting narrative, Bitcoin is actually beneficial for the environment. All you're seeing here are plans within plans. Shockwave claims that this is not a pump, instead, it's just a heavy, heavy line. Take a look at Chart D, which dates back to 2018. We haven't witnessed a pump yet, we've witnessed a brief push-up, but we haven't witnessed a pump. Oh, yes, the pump is on its way, and when it does, you'll witness people rocketing to the top. That's what will happen unexpectedly. It might even occur on a Saturday or Sunday morning. According to JP Morgan, the price of Bitcoin may fall to around $442,000. Following April and having like JP Morgan, I believe that the markets will experience a correction before the final push-up that will usher in the bull run. Based on my observations, we may see a nice push-up in the summer, and then later in the year, early in Q1 or Q2 of 2025, for the remaining altcoins. Keep in mind that Bitcoin will go first. More than half of all SWIFT ISO 222 transactions globally are linked to JP Morgan's on-demand liquidity. The bank highlighted Ripple in a presentation with market makers. The paperwork for Ripple can be seen here. Information from JP Morgan is readily available. During the first week of operation, the 4 services that went live in March 2023 handled over 2.4 million SWIFT 20,022 messages. That is, SWIFT CBPR Target 2 was processed in both Australia and Europe last year. More than half of the MX payment traffic on SWIFT ISO 20022 services was accounted for by JP Morgan, and more than half of the people JP Morgan even posted this document online. Speaking of Ripple, discussing blockchain, discussing its advantages, discussing its ability to provide demand liquidity, and discussing market makers, we are aware that Ripple has a market maker on the exchange within GSR, which helps provide liquidity to the token chain connected to the same thing that many other cryptocurrencies use. There's a reason why JP Morgan releases documents like this. They're not merely showcasing the technology, otherwise, they wouldn't, compile and publish materials like this for public consumption. Or including this in their official PDF documents. If they weren't participating in this, they wouldn't be discussing them or squandering their time by disseminating information. There's a wall at JP Morgan Garden. They have a JP Morgan token that is useless and can only be used in JP Morgan's offices. Joe Cat, what does that do for us? We're trying to avoid having to hold these other currencies, he added, referring to another W. Garrett that is a digital Novoa account. SBI should be heard by all of these other cryptocurrency banks worldwide. They wish not to retain the JP Morgan coin. JP Morgan is not interested in owning SBI. Coins in the right wall gardens is that they must continue to grasp one another's tokens. They refuse to carry out their desires. The bridge asset in the middle, which will move and be inexpensive and efficient. This money moves like an email does. I can assure you that everything is coming together globally, and we still haven't seen this bull run fully take off. Bitcoin has made some progress. However, this section will begin. When the price of Bitcoin breaches its all-time high, we may observe that all available liquidity has entered the market, indicating that Bitcoin is about to lose value.